Hi to everyone tuning in. My name is Catherine Ellis. If you don't know me, I was the group dance instructor at Hillview Heights Church SCMA for the past semester, so the spring of 2020. And one of the things that I'm trying out to do is just helping to create content. And I posted a poll on Instagram asking about just doing a stretching video because that's what we would always open our classes with. We would do some warm up at the bar. We were using the wall for the most part to get our body moving, and then we would come out to the center and stretch. And so I am just going to, I have the cool down playlist actually playing in the background. I do not own the rights to any of the songs. And I don't want for it to get too loud. I'm gonna speak some throughout the video, just kind of telling you what I'm doing. But if your kid was in my class, then they will also recognize a lot of these. This is also a really good time for me to film this because I am very sore from my own working out right now. And so I will probably be like, not yelling, but audibly hurting in this stretching video. So I'm gonna walk through a just kind of normal stretch routine, and this is actually what I'm stretching for to go do my workout today. So it will just be like any other day, kind of when we're getting our body moving and then going to exercise further. So I hope that this is helpful to you. Hope that you find this enjoyable. If you would like to subscribe or like this video to just kind of let me know what you guys are liking, then that would be great. And I hope that it helps you out. So since I'm already down on the ground, I'm gonna stay seated after I grab my water bottle because I also need to drink water, and start stretching. See, I'm sore. Ooh. So I almost always, I don't wanna have to yell, turn that music down more. I almost always start in butterfly. Try to be here in the picture frame so that you guys can see. One of the things that we talked about in class is having your knees go down to the ground. So often our hips are not very flexible, and so it starts butterfly like this, and we're just flapping up here, which is fine if that's the case. So we're flapping, and then I would tell kids to kind of push your knees down, ease them down gently to try to get some of that flexibility. Because I have been a dancer for so long, my knees already go all the way to the ground. Like, there is nowhere else for me to push them. It's just honestly my fat that's in the way now. So we'll just kind of flap for a minute like a butterfly. And then if we're already in butterfly position, we can also just kind of go nose to toes and just wrap over. And then we can come back up and just kind of shake it out a little bit. Something that is super important to remember while you are stretching is something that I was taught as a dancer, actually in one of my earliest studios, and that is if you don't breathe, your muscles don't breathe. So I'm not sure if you could just hear me audibly exhaling down at the bottom when my nose was to my toes, but that's something that's really important throughout the entire stretching process. We'll go down one more time. And we'll come up. I like to hold my stretches for somewhere between like 8 and 12 counts. 8 counts is easy as a dancer because that's how we learn routines, is in 5, 6, 7, 8. But really you can hold it for a long time. If you're doing something like left side and then right side, it's just really important to do it the same on both sides, okay? So from here, I'm gonna open up to one leg out, one leg bent, almost in a passe if that helps you to think of it. And I am sore just sitting like this, holy smokes. You can always warm up your ankles, rolling them, flex and point. I usually just let my foot relax in this position. And when I'm sitting here, as soon as I get situated, we want to be sure that our hips are planted into the ground, so we're not rotating and picking up our hip. We're just planted even, and we're going to twist over and put our nose to that left knee, or whichever knee you're doing. It really doesn't matter what you do first. And go down as far as you can. then if you want to, you can go back down on that side again. I'm not going to because we're gonna do a straddle stretch here in a minute, which is largely similar. So we're just gonna switch sides. And I am gonna have to move around some in this video because I'm just here in my apartment. So this is something that you can definitely do anywhere. You can see my love seat here and my wall here, like I can touch them with my hands. So there's not a ton of space, but if you just have to move positions and figure it out, then that's okay. But we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Nose to knee. I'm gonna go to straddle next, assuming that I can fit. Your straddle doesn't have to be super wide. It definitely needs to be open though, so that you can feel it, but it doesn't have to be like all the way straight. I'm putting one of my feet under my love seat because if I can find somewhere that's not sticking out with a staple. Okay, that's fine. I'm angling just a little bit, honestly, just for space, because I still want for you guys to be able to see. So the first thing we're gonna do is stick our arms out, reach over to the left a little bit, only moving our ribs. Again, our hips stay planted on the ground, reaching over and then crossing over to this leg. So I'm actually grabbing my toes right here, but this is stretching your side out, your lower back some. I put my arm in front of me, like in my straddle, because honestly for me, that just gets it out of the way better. So we're gonna hang out here. If you need to be right here, that's fine. Try to not put weight on this bottom arm because that kind of distracts the purpose. You really want to feel that stretch in your side. Remember to breathe. And then we'll come up and just do the same thing on the other side. Reach over and then cross. Oh. And we'll come up again. And this time we're leaving our hips planted on the ground, rotating from the ribs, and we're gonna do nose to knee in the actual straddle. We just did that with our leg and passe on the ground, and now we're gonna do it in straddle. Same thing, keep breathing, keep your hips on the ground. Ouch, that just stuck me. Remember to breathe while you're stretching and in between. Over to the other side. And then let's come up and we can shake out our legs a little bit. We're fixing to go down to the middle. I want to say a couple of things about this before we actually do it. In this straddle position, let me scoot back so you can see my feet a little bit better. So this is not my normal straddle, but this is just where I'm going to be to try to show you guys this. When we go down to center, we don't want our feet to go forward. We want to keep them up. So something that you can do to help with this, let me see if I can do it against my wall here. You can sit in your straddle with your feet against the wall. So you're probably only able to see my right foot, but this is gonna work on, well heck, you can't even see it very much at all. This is my right foot, and it's against the wall here. So it prevents my foot from sickling forward like that, you see? So this is gonna work on that flexibility too, without bending over to go actual center. So, with that, let's go ahead and try to stretch over. I'm gonna turn completely to the side here so that I can actually go to the center. We really wanna breathe here. This is something that's easy to stretch too far on and hurt yourself. So let's just be really cautious of that. We can walk our hands down like this. And again, our hips are planted. We're not raising up like this to try to look fancy. We're sitting on the ground, just reaching as far as you can. So if you can only reach to here, you should feel that stretch on the inside of your thighs here, literally like your inner thigh. And we're just gonna reach forward. Our feet are staying planted and pointed up toward the ceiling. And we're breathing. Now let's come up, shake it out a little bit. And then we're gonna go over again on center for sure. And part of the reason for that is as you continue to breathe and you continue to stretch, you may be able to go further this time. So we're gonna keep breathing, and I'm gonna go as far as I can this time now that I'm a little bit warmer. Oh yeah. Keep breathing. All right, come back up. And then I like to just kind of bend my knees in a little bit after that because my hips get sore. Ooh. All right, full disclosure, one stretch that I really have never been able to do very well is a pike stretch. So my legs are just like in a pike out in front of me. This is a good way that you can be working on pointing and flexing. We did this in class, just pointing your toes, flexing one, alternating. We can roll ankles here, but especially if we're training for upper level ballet, including pointe, then we really need to have strong but flexible ankles. And your point, I mean, you don't want to hurt your ankle, but you really want to get that point. I'm trying to get away to get so you can see this. You really want to get your point all the way through your foot and your toes. So it's not just, let me point my like actual toe, because that's weird. So just do some pointing and flexing, warming up those ankles here. And then we're gonna really plant our hips into the ground again. You can point or flex your toes here. It's a little bit of a different stretch. Either way, I typically just relax my feet in this position because it's already so hard for me. And then we're just gonna fold over from the top, going as far down as we can. Coming up and shaking it out a little bit. You can do that one again if you want. I'm not going to today because I really want to stretch my front quads because they're really hurting me instead of like my underneath hamstrings. So from there, what I'm going to do next is a hip flexor and hamstring stretch to prepare me for splits. We didn't work on splits very much in class, but I did tell the class that if you sit in your splits for 1 minute every day, you will get them in no time. So the first stretch that we're gonna do, I'm gonna kind of stand up to show you this. It's gonna cut me off at some point, but I just wanna get a good visual. So we're gonna kind of stand, this foot is pointing toward the front, if I can balance, and this one is like toward the side. So we're gonna, wow, did you guys hear that knee pop? Holy cow. We're gonna then go into like a lunge right here, keeping our knee over our ankle, and this is stretching this hip flexor. If you can't feel it very much, try to push your hips more toward the ground, or you can always put this left knee on the ground and kind of try to take it down even lower. This is honestly just gonna depend on how flexible you are already, but there is no shame in any kind of way that you need to do it. So from this position then, we're gonna push up into standing, and we're gonna have our nose to our front knee. This is stretching our hamstring of the front leg, of course. All right, and then we're gonna go back down into that the hip flexor stretch again. Trying to get a little bit further down this time. And back up to the hamstring. And now we're gonna go into our splits. While I'm doing this right now, I'm going to slide from essentially that standing position, but there are multiple ways that you can get into your splits. The critical thing though with splits is to not go too fast into them. That's why we have warmed up lots of our legs. Before going into that, we've warmed up the hip flexor of the back leg, the hamstring of the front leg. So now I just stretched my right side. So whatever side you just stretched for your hamstring and hip flexor needs to be your splits that you go into first. And then we're gonna do it all on the other side. So let's go into splits after taking a drink of water. All right. So we slide into our splits, really centered over our body, keeping our chest up. And this is why we stretch that back hamstring and the front, or excuse me, the back hip flexor and the front hamstring. Splits are one of the most critical, it feels like to me, one of the most critical exercises to keep breathing on, because you do not want to pull a hamstring while you're sitting in your splits like this. I'm not going to hold it for a full minute today, mostly just for time's sake. But if you guys want to hold it for a full minute, you can pause the video. You can go hold it after this. But for now, I'm just going to kind of get out of it by bending both of my knees and then doing the other side. So we're going to start in that lunge position. Your left knee directly over your left ankle. And then I'm trying to figure out where my floor ends. We're going to pop up and stretch this right hip flexor now. And you guys have to forgive me. I am trying to do an actual stretch and I'm pretty flexible. So I want to show you the exercises, but I'm also doing my real stretch like I told you at the beginning. So this is me stretching out my right side. My hip flexors are super tight from my workout program right now, you guys. Holy smokes. All right, we're gonna push up to hamstring. So same thing, the front leg is pointed directly forward and our side leg is pointed toward the side. We're gonna lean back. Woo-wee, I feel that. Keep breathing. All right, and back down to our hamstring, or heavens to Betsy. I don't know why words are so hard. Back into our hip flexor stretch. Feel that. And back one more time to hamstring. Try to go a little bit further this time to really get that stretch underneath. Whew. All right, guys, same thing here. We're gonna slide into splits directly from here. I am not as flexible on this side, so I don't know that I'll make it all the way down today, but we're gonna just slide anyway. Oh. Not all the way down. I feel it in my left hamstring today. Whoo-wee. Keep breathing. We want to keep our chest up as much as possible. I'm sweating, you guys. All right, same thing on this side. I'm not going to hold it for a full minute or anything. Just wanted to get into the stretch some. We did not have to do a ton of arm stretching because we did a lot of our arm work at the bar. So for right now, I mean, honestly, if we're just gonna do arm stretches, it would be like what I did in PE in high school. So we're gonna just cross one over in front of the other. This is really good at stretching your upper shoulder delt-ish area. I didn't take anatomy, so don't quote me on that. But that's kind of where I feel this most. Keeping this arm straight and just kind of pulling it back. Then we're gonna switch. Same thing, this arm is straight. I'm not bending it here. Keep breathing even in these that feel easy. All right, then we're gonna take this one and grab that elbow. Try to keep your chin up as much as possible. That way we're not straining our neck. Ooh, yeah. Take this one back. check out your arms a little bit. If you want to just kind of like do some half circles or just kind of opening up those back muscles too, that's fine. While we're sitting, I'm just sitting here crisscross applesauce. I'm gonna go ahead and try to stretch my neck a little bit. Going to the side, not straining, still breathing. Ooh, don't try to pop your neck. Mine just does that because I'm old. And back to center. Now let's start over on one shoulder, roll it down slowly, try to feel that stretch all the way in your neck. Be gentle going back, we don't want to hurt your spine. And then come back center, and let's go the other way. Side and then down. Don't rush through this, you don't want to get whiplash or hurt your neck. We're being very gentle. I'm gonna do another one on that side because I can feel that my neck needs it. All right, and then I'm gonna do another one on this side because I don't wanna be uneven. All right, hopefully we're feeling pretty good. We have warmed up some hamstring, hip flexors, ankles, neck, arms. One of the things that we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna stand up. Don't stand up too quickly when you're getting up from the floor after stretching, especially if you haven't been breathing, because you don't wanna hurt yourself getting up. Like I said, I'm trying to project so that you can hear me, but also so that you can see my body. What I'm gonna do now is a quad stretch for the front of our legs, and that is what is extremely sore on me right now, you guys. So I'm gonna just pick up, this is my left foot that is bent, and I'm just picking it up, you can see, in this kind of just half position, feeling it in my hip flexor a little bit and down in my quad. You can use, like I'm using my countertop to balance right now. If you have a chair that you want to use, whatever you need is fine. If you want to challenge yourself with some balance, you can always let go and practice on keeping your core tight, your glutes tight, and just kind of really standing here still while also stretching. So let's let that one out and shake it out, and then I will switch to this side so you guys can see better. This is now my right leg. Same thing, just picking it up and pulling. Ooh, see, I did not do a good job balancing. All right, let me see, try that again. Squeezing your core, feeling that stretch really good in that right hip flexor and quad. Whew-wee. All right, releasing that. One of the things that we also did in class was essentially a standing straddle stretch. So we're gonna mimic a lot of what we just did seated, but we're now standing. It just feels a little bit different, kind of get your blood flow in a different way. So we're gonna start standing in a fairly wide second position, and we're just gonna reach over. Oh, I really feel that on my side, way more than when I was seated. And it's really important here too, we're not sticking our hip out, we're keeping our hips square and shifting over our ribs, really getting that good side stretch here. Keep breathing. Then we're gonna go to a flat back stretch right here. So this one is a little bit more okay if your hips go out a little bit. I feel this in my right hamstring and in my lower left back. And then we're gonna do nose to knee on this side. We're just gonna go in a big circle. Keep both of your knees straight. Go on to center. Oh boy, I feel that on my left side already. Whew. We're just going over as far as we can. So if you need to stop right here, that's okay. If you need to try to bend your arms to get your arms on the floor, that's also fine. And going over to the left, nose to knee. and flat back on this side. I'm gonna shift a little bit so I don't hit my couch. See how my back is flat? It's not arched. It's not, excuse me, it's not like hollow like a cat, and it's not arched up. I'm just keeping a really flat back in line with my arm, feeling that again now my left hamstring and in my right lower back. And then we bring it up and around, keeping our hips square now, remember, and reaching over, feeling that in our right side. All right, is everyone feeling good? I hope so. We have really warmed up a lot of our body at this point. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we really haven't covered. I did not do a bunch of like hips, and I did hip flexors, but not like glute stretches. So I'm going to show you actually my favorite really fast. It's kind of hard to differentiate on camera when you're looking at it, but I am going to try to explain it the best I can for you. So go back to seated. All right. If we're starting in crisscross applesauce like this, what I'm going to do is take the leg that's in the front, and I'm going to kind of just take it out a little bit, almost like a crooked crisscross, you know. It's not actually tucked underneath one another. It's like an open pretzel. And so at this point, my right leg is in front and my left leg did not move from that crisscross. I just took this right leg out a little bit to where they're not crossed underneath each other. And from here, what we're gonna do, again, keep our hips firmly on the ground. We're not trying to lift our hips up. I'm going to just lean over. Whoo, wee mama. And this is, I feel it so much in my right hips, kind of in that glutes area. All right, and come up from that. If you need to go back to crisscross to kind of get the feel, then that's fine, but now we're gonna switch it, and now it's gonna be my left leg that's taken out from underneath. And we're just gonna do the same thing. Fold on over and feel that in your left hip. Keep breathing. All right, so another thing that you can, you can find different stretches to do all kinds of stuff, but for me, this is my favorite way to stretch to get everything kind of flowing. My legs, got my arms, my neck. We stretched our back and the side to side. Twisting can be dangerous because we can pop our back too much or reach in a weird way, so I don't typically stretch that way. But if you feel safe doing it and like you're taught proper technique, then feel free to do however you feel like your body needs to be warm. Definitely keep drinking water and breathing while you're stretching, because we want for those muscles to be hydrated and able to move to help you get more flexible, but also just to be safe and just keep your body healthy. Yeah, guys, I can't think of anything else that I really want to include in this stretching video. So I'm going to try to upload this to YouTube. Hopefully the music wasn't too loud. Like I said, this is our cool down playlist from Spotify that I made. But yeah, let me come closer so I can actually feel like I'm actually with you guys. So I really miss group dance. We got a few good weeks in and we were working toward picking our showcase song, and then I was gonna start choreographing that, and the whole world stopped, you guys, with Corona. So I hope that this was helpful and enjoyable. Parents, if you wanna give this to your kids and tell them to go be blessed and stretch in a room for 30 minutes with Catherine, then I support that. Like I said in the beginning, if you guys like this video, drop a comment, like it, subscribe, whatever. I just wanted to try to serve in the best way that I can right now inside of Corona. So stay safe, everyone. Stay home, follow social distancing and CDC guidelines, wash your hands, and I really hope to see you guys soon.